Hey Doug, I just saw the video a little bit ago where you were talking about the little elevator you're building in the forward companionway there, and I've got a suggestion for you. And actually, I have run into more of a problem you're going to have trying to do that. I came up with a way to build the car, but the problem is having a platform that's going to go up and down through the space available is I think where you're going to run into that. So I'm going to show you this here. I've got SketchUp pulled into the screen. Let's dive into this. So as you can see, this is the solution I came up with. This is just a model of that portion of the hull. It's been a while since I've been down there. I just kind of guesstimated on the dimensions of everything, but this looked to be pretty close to what things actually were, maybe just a little bit off. But there's a couple of things going to have to think of when doing this. I know right now you've got the rounded top on that and everything. Would be a little bit worried about building a guillotine up here, where you can see my finger pointing. So what I'm looking at is what I figured on. You've got the two pegs where the ladder goes right there. Well, I was thinking just take a piece of 4-inch by half-inch flat stock and run it over to two pieces of box tubing. You could have a really nice low-profile car that way. And you can see there's almost no depth to that thing. I did put a pulley here in the center of it, and the reason for that is you want to have that pulley because you want to have the line run down and then come back up. You want to get that double line pull instead of just having one line pull this thing. It just it gives you a little bit better mechanical force, makes the thing move a little slower, makes it safer. Anyways, I designed that with the pulley in here. You can see then just this is a piece of 1/4-inch plate on each side that comes off of that 2-inch box tube. There are 8 wheels on my design, and the reason I did 8 wheels was when you start talking something like this where it has a real twisting force to it, you have a whole lot of force at play there, so you need those wheels to be able to really support. And you're talking some pretty serious forces on those things because of the lever you have there. With this setup here, I'd feel comfortable with those 8 wheels on there. I'd feel comfortable putting a couple 100 pounds on there. And I actually think in doing it this way, especially with the little pulley setup there, if everything at the top here was rigged right, you could possibly put a little tang that went down in the middle just to drop this down lower. But I think doing that, I think you could have an elevator that comes all the way to the top where it's actually just pretty much flush with the top deck or very well close to it for whatever it is you're going to use this thing to bring things down to the bottom with. The big thought I do have, though, is at the top here, you're going to have a serious issue when it's time for this deck to come up here. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to go ahead and select this and move this up to the top so you can see what it is that I'm talking about. And we'll just put our point on the rail about right there. And then I can just grab the rail as we go up, and you can see as it starts to go in there, I'll just move it all the way up to the top of the rail here, basically, right there. You can see it's going to collide with the top of that, so that's something to be thinking about, how long your deck here is going to be. That's what my big concern is that this thing, as you get into it, you'll actually have problems with your headroom, not with the thing clearing the ladder. To make this thing functional, you may have to take the ladder out of that well. If you did that, I could see one of those Ipe tiles just sitting on top of there acting as the deck on this thing, running up and down, no problem. But that would be my bigger concern in using this thing, is that it might not function very well with the ladder in it just because of the space that it has to come out there. And this could be moved back some, and there is some playing around you could do with it there. But those are the types of things that I would worry about. And you may just have to pull the ladder out to be able to use it. I don't know how all that's going to play out. But hope this gives you an idea. I'll give you just a couple of more detailed shots here. I'll just turn everything, the track, ladder shoes, and layer 0 off there so you can get an idea how this thing looks. As you can see, it's just a frame that's designed to work over the top of those shoes. You want this thing to be heavy. Anytime I've dealt with something like this where it's cable driven, you want it to have good tension on the cable and it'll actually be self-riding. If you wanted to, you could add a set of rollers here and here just to keep the thing centered in the track or on the bottom and maybe at the top here. I really don't think it's necessary. It's something you may consider doing, or you could put a roller on the face like you were talking about. That wouldn't be terribly hard with this setup either. Actually, I think a roller on the face would probably be easier. What I do believe the issue is going to be, though, is, like I said, is that overhead. I mean, this is pretty simple to build, not terribly complex. Using 2-inch box tube, was figuring you drill it out all the way through, weld in one of those long nuts that you've been using on the floor pieces right there, 1/2-inch bolt, go right through the center of it there with the wheel and the bearing. I think that would work really well. Ipe tile for the deck piece, I just designed that As a matter of fact, we'll just shut that off. I just said, a frame of a 2-inch by quarter flat bar to make the deck surface there. Nothing fancy. We bolted right down to it, and it'd be pretty simple to put together. Anyways, I hope this helps you out. We'll catch you later.